Welcome to Bird for Joy, a show about discovering all the different ways that bird watching can bring joy into our lives. I'm Candilynn Fite, your gracious host and fledgling birder. Here at Bird for Joy, we focus on listening and watching the birds around us, being curious and learning what the birds have to teach us about joy, life, and ourselves. So grab your favorite beverage, settle on your perch, and let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to the Bird for Joy podcast. Happy March, my birdiful friends. Dare I say happy almost spring? Our weather here in South Central Texas is doing what I like to call yo-yo weather. One moment it's 80 degrees, and the next it's 40 degrees. But I know it won't be long until spring has sprung, and we won't feel a chill in the air until the fall. Let's squeeze in one last episode about ways that we can supplement our birding fix without exposing ourselves to the not-so-pleasant outside weather. I've been enjoying several of these in the past 12 days due to being sick. You have my most sincere apologies for the delay with this episode. It has been tough to get it recorded and edited. Today, we're exploring the virtual birding world. I don't mean like virtual reality, although now that I think about it, maybe virtual reality birding is a thing. Anyway, I'm referring to utilizing online resources such as live bird cams, virtual tours of birding hotspots, or birding videos to observe birds remotely from anywhere in the world. Okay, if y'all have been listening to the podcast, you know I am all about the barred owls. So currently, I am obsessed with keeping an eye on the new mama barred owl who laid her first egg on February 26th, the second egg on February 29th, and a third on March 3rd. The live owl footage can be viewed on the WBU Barred Owl Cam, which is Wild Birds Unlimited. It's a partnership between Wild Birds Unlimited and the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. I will drop a link in the show notes. They have a live cam set up inside the box and one located outside the nesting box. Not only does this give us humans a peek inside the beautiful and enchanting world of owl nesting, but it also allows ornithologists the opportunity to study up close the nesting behaviors of the barred owls without interfering with nature. From the link I provide you in the show notes, you can go through to watch the footage when the female reveals her very first egg. Incubation usually takes anywhere from 28 to 33 days from when the first or second egg is laid. Thanks to modern technology, I and you have the ability to watch the exciting progress of this very special pair of owls. A quick search online will provide you with other sites with live cams of other birds in various locations around the globe. Now, along the same lines, let's talk about YouTube. There are so many birding YouTube channels out there, my friends, but let me share a few of my favorites. Warbler Ridge, from a wooded hillside in eastern Tennessee. Warbler Ridge has lots to offer the curious birder, but my favorite are the Sunday morning bird segments. They average between 5 and 10 minutes and are mostly close-up videos of the birds that show up at one of the water features. Then there's Leslie the Bird Nerd. It was the very first YouTube channel I began following at the start of my birding adventures. Not only has she taught me a lot about different bird species, but she has a rare and special bond with several wild birds. Not to mention that she gives the wild birds adorable names. And then there's Allison Conler at the channel Birding by Ear, who is a wealth of birdiful information and shares techniques for identifying birds by sound. Along with teaching others to bird by ear, She also shares cool DIY projects for birds, information on gardening for birds, and feeding and attracting birds to your yard. Check out the amazing DIY water features that she creates. Although I've listed her in the YouTube list, I find that she's more active on Instagram at the same name, Birding by Ear. And last but not least, the Cornell Lab of Ornithology YouTube channel. It's chock full of informational videos on anything and everything about birds, birding, and the birding community. Now, speaking of Instagram, I've connected with so many like-minded birders and folks in the birding community there. Granted, Instagram is more of a social media and networking source. Birders of all experiences can still find opportunities to educate themselves. And it's another way that you can binge bird photography and videos. I follow most of the sources I've shared with you today on Instagram. A quick shout out to several fellow bird podcasters whose shows have inspired me and I've enjoyed listening to. Will's Bird Brain Podcast, the Casual Birder Podcast, Mindful Birding Podcast, The Weekend Birder, and the Nature Centered from Wild Birds Unlimited. If you're on Instagram, head on over to @BirdForJoy and feel free to peruse the list of accounts that I follow to connect with the sources that I've mentioned today. And the last virtual birding idea I want to share with you will definitely get your feathers preened and ready for spring. Stella Miller, bird nerd, conservationist, and educator, is offering virtual programs in the upcoming months. The first one is Birds, Why They Matter, the Threats They Face, and How We Can Help. It's being held on April the 4th. And Birding for Beginners. It's a 2-part course on May 1st and May 2nd. You can find more information about Stella's programs via her Instagram account @Stella's Birds and Nature. If you connect with anyone that I've suggested today, please let them know how you heard about them. I would really appreciate it. Remember, you can find the links to most of the sources that I've mentioned today in the show notes. This episode wraps up all of the unique ways that birders can scratch that birding itch during the winter when the weather isn't ideal, or you may be experiencing seasonal blues, or you're finding it difficult to venture outdoors. I hope that you found something useful in the past few episodes, or something enlightening. Until next week, I wish you a joyous and birdie-ful week, my friends. If you are enjoying the show, I would love it if you would follow or subscribe, rate, review, and then let others know about the podcast so we can continue to build a community of like-minded birders. A big shout out to composer Jonathan Boyle for his cheerful show music called Plucking Happy. The spoken lyrics were written and read by me, and the full version with lyrics will follow this episode. Until next time, stay chirpy, my friends, and get outside, feel the sun upon your face and the wind in your hair, and bird for joy's sake. Bird for joy's sake, when you're needing more, a new beginning, feeling lost, alone, or blue, go into nature. Stroll to the melodious tunes of birdsong. Let it refresh your soul, fill your heart, lift your spirits. Yes, bird, for joy's sake. Witness the winged wonders, flitting, fluttering, playing hide and tweet. Is there anything else so sweet? I think not. We'll save for the chitter-chatter of my own nestlings as they filled my early days. But sigh no more, for they have long left the nest, and I now strive to find myself once again, discovering new things that I do best. Bird, for joy's sake, for our feathered friends have much joy to share, and it doesn't cost a dime, only time. And I don't know about you, but I am willing to give, to have a chance to live out my days, filled with curiosity, hope, and wonder, learning patience, the art of slowing down and being fully present, living in the moment, something I have long strived to achieve. Bird, for joy's sake, and keep looking up. Let their constant cheer infect you, their tenacity provide you with lessons of never giving up and looking on the brighter side of life. Prepare for entertainment with their quirky, chirpy silliness. Oh my, so much cuteness, happiness, and whimsy. You can't help but smile. And suddenly you'll discover worries cease, frustrations fade, chaos calms, and troubles melt away like snow in the spring. You will find yourself looking up and forward into the horizon, surrounded by song, hope, and happiness perched in your heart, feeling renewed and fulfilled. Go out into nature, take a stroll, let the avifauna rejuvenate your soul, and bird, for joy's sake,